Hello, everyone. My name is Chad Spengler, and welcome back to the Big Shiny Coin podcast. Every week, I ask the internet a gaming-related question, and then I share the best answers right here on the show. So how can you get your answers on the podcast? A couple of ways. We'll be posting this week's question on all of our social media, Twitter at somber_dawn, Instagram somber_dawn_studios, and facebook.com/somberdawn. But the best way to get your answer on the podcast, as always, is to join the Big Shiny Coin Discord server and share your answer in the podcast channel. That's the place I check first and the most often. If you want to join the Big Shiny Coin Discord, just head over to somberdawnstudios.com and there's a button right at the top of the website. Can't miss it. So big shout out to Reddit for these past few weeks. They've given me such ton of good answers, both Ask Reddit and Ask Games. Big shout out to those subreddits. Y'all have given me a lot of material to work with. So the question for this week is, what game could you just not finish? For me, it was Fallout 4. I had never played a Fallout game before, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it to dig into that series that I had never gotten a hold of. Once it came out, I planned a bunch of different character builds, and then after a few hours, I set it down and just couldn't pick it back up for one reason or another. I think we've all had a game like that. So, Mad Cat from Reddit says, Kingdom Hearts bored me to death even though I love the concept. I feel like this is a really controversial one because people love their Kingdom Hearts, but honestly, I kind of felt the same way. Now, I wouldn't say I was bored to death by it, but I picked it up, like way later after it was, like a re-release or remaster edition, whatever. And I just I really liked, I think, a DS version of it, but I just I couldn't dig in for some reason. I don't know, like the controls just felt a little off for me. And I don't know, I liked all the theming of it, which is kind of, I feel like, its main draw. But I kind of felt the same way. I just couldn't get into it mechanically in a way that just, kept me playing till the end, which I know a lot of people. Sorry guys. Matrix Retoasted. It's a mouthful from Reddit. The Last of Us, unfortunately, because I couldn't get past the first clicker I met no matter what. I just got frustrated and never picked it back up again. Not the first person I've seen have this trouble. Somebody I knew in real life had this problem. They couldn't get past the first clicker. And I've had similar games like that where you hit a point in the game. It could be a great game, but you hit a point where something just frustrates you so much that you're like, nah, screw this. I remember in the first Fear, I probably would have played the whole series if I got past this point, but I remember I got into a room toward the very beginning of the game, and I just could not figure out how to get out of this room. And it drove me nuts. And after like 15, 20 minutes of trying, I was like, screw this. I'm just not going to play it. And then I never picked it back up again. So little moments like that, I feel like, can ruin a game. Or just make you continue to not play, even if it's a great game. Ritz Blues from Discord. Final Fantasy XII. I had to read my Roman numerals right there. It was my first sandbox experience. I wanted to do all of the side quests. However, the vast majority were just hunts and lacked proper character development hooks that previous Final Fantasy games had. Now many of us suffer from having massive backlogs, and once the novelty of a fresh hype for a game is gone, the desire to start or finish games has diminished. I agree definitely about the backlogs. It sucks when you get a game that's supposed to be like this awesome, hyped up, game, and a lot of it is just filler. And I feel like that's I hate to say it, like some of the best games out there, like the big open world games, which, by the way, open world big games are a very, very common answer I've learned to this question. They're full of filler, even the best ones. I feel like, I've never played Far Cry, I think was the game, but people would just go nuts over these towers that you had to do because it was just not fun. So that's the drawback of big open world games, is they can have a lot of filler. Velophile from Reddit. I've played video games for 30 years. I have taken exactly one game back in all of that time because I found its premise and mechanics, and by extension, I guess, the series it spawned from, just completely counterintuitive to motivating me to play it. Bloodborne. The point of it is to be purposefully frustrating so that when you become skilled enough from multiple repeated attempts to get by something, and the fact that you cleared it is supposed to be the reward in and of itself before it presents you with a brand new challenge. The last thing I would ever look forward to when I want to play a video game is being frustrated. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Caleb from Facebook. GTA 4 and 5. I dove into both and just couldn't find a way to immerse myself. I've had very mixed experiences with the GTA series. I can't say that I've ever disliked a GTA game I've played, and I've played 4, which I also did not finish. I played Vice City, which I just played into the ground. Might actually still be my favorite one. San Andreas, I only played for like a very little bit and then couldn't get into it, and I think I had some other stuff going on at the time, couldn't really play it. And 5, which I 100%ed. So very, very up and down for me as far as GTA goes. Like, I'll finish the crap out of one, barely play the next one. Finish the crap out of the next one, not even barely touch the next one. Crazy Keithan, or Crazy K Ethan, whichever one, 99 from Reddit. Batman Arkham Knight, those dang Riddler trophies suck. I'm trying to get 100% in the game, and I'm only at 96%. I found this answer interesting because he considered finishing a game to be 100%ing a game, which I think is an important distinction, because when I think of finishing a game, I think of I finished the main storyline, I saw the end of the game, the end of the story, and everything else is extra for me. Of course, I do love 100%ing quite a few games, but I thought that was interesting how, you know, he feels like he's not finished with the game because he hasn't gotten 100%. That was interesting to me. Tyrant Dragon 05 from Discord, shout out to my Discord people. By sheer game mechanics, Valkyria Chronicles 2, the later levels ended up making me go back and cheese earlier missions for specific crafting components and killed any drive to finish it. But then again, I have completed 0 games I bought for the PSP. I think it's a curse. I haven't owned too many PSP games. I only owned a PSP for a very short period of time. And I don't know if I owned any games for PSP that could be quote-unquote finished. I had like a lot of puzzle games and with no real definitive ending. Kazmataz82 from Reddit. Borderlands the pre-sequel. So bad. Different studio made it. Played like a totally different game that was just skinned to look like Borderlands. I'm ashamed to say I've never played the Borderlands series. Forgive me, everyone. But I really, you know, it bugs me when a company takes over a game and then starts changing stuff for the worst. One of my favorite series ever, Guitar Hero. I love all those games. I've still played, I think, all of the ones that have been released. I'm fairly sure. But Activision took it over after Guitar Hero 2, and Guitar Hero 3 was fantastic, but you could kind of start to see little things that you're like, I don't know about this. They implemented a battle mode, which was part of the main story, and I thought it was just the worst game mode. I'm glad it wasn't like super necessary. Like it punished players who were better because the power-ups hurt them worse. Like you could disrupt your opponent's, you know, stuff, and it hurt good players the most because they had the most notes to miss. And it also, like, to beat it in the story, you basically just had 100%. If you wanted to beat the final boss in battle mode on expert, you just had to 100% get lucky, get the right power up, and cheese it and beat him in like half a second. And it was not very satisfying. It was like, oh my god! When I finally beat him, I was like, fuck, I finally, you know, just got lucky, and that's kind of a crappy feeling. The Sir Blondie from Reddit. BioShock, never made it more than 20 minutes into the game because I got spooked by the first splicer. Many a horror game have caused me to just quit because I'm super immersed in the game. I'm very, you know, into it, like, oh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Run into something that just like scares the hell out of me and I go, nope, and then just straight up never play it again. I've done that to many horror games, I'll admit. Illyrian Killer from Reddit. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I first played it over a decade ago. To this day, it's my favorite game. I have never finished... Hold on. I first played it over a decade ago. To this day, it's my favorite game. And also to this day, I've never finished one of the expansions. And it's not because I don't want it. It's not because I don't want to. It's just because I've never had the time to. Morrowind is one of those amazing games where you can so easily get caught up in the side quest that you lose track of the main quest and you just never get it done. It took me going back 10 years just to finish the main quest of the game. Someday I'll make time to finish it, and I just don't know when that'll be. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about Fallout 4, as I got distracted by a lot of the side quests, and then I just really didn't, didn't care to pick the main quest back up. And I also just got distracted by like life stuff. It wasn't necessarily that I hated Fallout 4. It was just, other stuff was happening. I've been told I need to go back and play New Vegas instead. So there's that. Trey from Facebook. The Witcher 3, massive game. I'd played it for over 48 hours and only hit level 20. I was playing it late last year and early this year. Just stopped playing and lost interest with other releases and competitive seasons rolling over for other games. Yeah, I've heard that he was not the only person to say The Witcher 3 or one of the Witcher games, just because they're so damn big. That's what I've heard about them, is they're so good. Like, they're very, very high quality all around, but they're just so long and so massive that you really have to dedicate a huge chunk of time for them. Good Boy from Reddit. For me, it was Dragon Age Inquisition. I played Dragon Age Origins plus the expansion and loved. Played Dragon Age 2, and I liked the combat, but hated the way combat encounters worked, enemies spawning, jumping out of nowhere, and the lazy reuse of levels and areas. Story was okay, still finished the game. Then came Inquisition. They ruined the combat system. Felt like playing an MMO instead of a tactical RPG. I got just over 10 hours in, and every hour felt like 10 of them. I was very sad since I loved the first game, especially its awesome combat system and story, but Inquisition's combat system was so bad. I had less tactical control and it felt more tedious to play. The story was also very boring and bland. Inquisition is certainly not the worst game I've played, but it was just a massive disappointment. That sucks. Like I said earlier with the Guitar Hero, I hate when, they just tank it. Like, I'm all for games innovating, right? Like, I have no problem with the next iteration of a game having new systems to just try stuff out. I know Civilization gets a lot of flack for this every time they release a new one, because initially people are like, oh, they ruined everything, and then over time people are like, but change for the sake of change is not always good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it too much. You try to improve on it. Always try to improve. No system in a game is perfect, but if it's really solid, maybe don't change it too much. Take Your Time Gaming from Reddit. Shout out to their YouTube channel, by the way. Go check out Take Your Time Gaming on YouTube. Please and thank you. I have a lot, but the most recent one is The Lost Child for PS4. SMT is my favorite video game series, so I was excited for SMT Lite when it was announced for localization. I got about a third of the way through before I put it away. The biggest reason was the translation. It wasn't well done. Dialogue was jarring and consistently off. It was very similar in quality to the Digimon story games if you've played those. I just couldn't take it anymore. The monster collecting and dungeon crawling wasn't fun enough to keep me going when the story was being ruined by the crappy translating. Man, that sucks, because you would think that is one thing that they would really want to pay attention to and really nail. That doesn't sound like something you would phone in. And it sucks that it seems like something so, integral to the game, so basic it seems, would be so bad that even the good parts of the game aren't enjoyable. That sucks. Discordannian from Discord. Another shout out to Discord. Join it. I started Red Dead Redemption 3 times. I enjoyed it a lot, but then something would happen where I had to set it down, and then a few weeks later I can't remember what I'm doing, so I'd restart. Lather, rinse, repeat. End result is I never finished the game. I really should circle back to it. I've had a few games like that where I just lose track of what I'm doing, and I boot the game back up and I'm like, why did I make this decision? That seems to make no sense whatsoever. What was I thinking? And then of course I play through the game and make the exact same decision. I'm like, oh, okay. But then I forget about it again. It's like Groundhog's Day, just with games. Mick and Ralph's Crier from Reddit. There's been a few I didn't finish, but I think the big one is Pokemon Ultra Moon. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I've been playing the game since Red and Blue and played pretty much every generation. Since X and Y came out, I've been getting them on launch day and spending 100 plus hours on each of them. I actually really enjoyed Sun and Moon and was looking forward to the so-called alternate universe presented in the sequels. I honestly don't think I've ever felt more ripped off. Ultra Moon was the exact same game. I played it for maybe 6 or 7 hours before realizing this and just sat in my apartment for 3 months. I finally realized I was never going to play it because I had already played the game and traded it in. Probably the only time I've genuinely been disappointed by a Pokemon game. I don't think I played after. I think I played a little bit of X and Y, but I think I stopped. The last one I played, like, hardcore, I think was Pearl. And then after that, I just kind of like fell out of it, got busy with other stuff. I absolutely loved the first generation. Of course, I'm obligated now that I have a Switch to pick up Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. So we'll see how that goes. I'm interested to see the integration with Pokemon Go, but that sucks to hear. Like I've always heard really good things, even about the later Pokemon releases, even though I haven't played them myself. And sucks to hear that one of them was just kind of a phoned in, seemingly cash grab a little bit. Strix Lataria from Reddit. I probably pronounced that really bad. I'm so sorry. There are several games I haven't finished, but the one I don't think I ever will pick up again is Into the Stars, a roguelite spaceship management game. And the reason why is that from the second it starts, it does nothing but give you negative feedback. I just don't want to play a game that makes me constantly feel like I'm fucking something up somewhere, somehow. Yeah, I understand that. That's my big gripe with Cuphead. I get, like, that's kind of a core part of its gameplay, right? I understand that, but it feels so bad to just be punched in the face over and over. It's like, you're dead, do it again, you're dead, do it again, you're dead. Like, that's not a fun gameplay loop for me. But Jay from Facebook, Resident Evil 7. After playing a few of Chris's boring missions, a friend told me that Leon has better, more classic style missions. I booted him up and I was leaving the college campus. The game starts and I had to go through the small room with the metal detector. I spent a few minutes trying to figure a way around it. There wasn't one, so I went through and bam, the alarm goes off. Leon then says something along the lines of, "Man, I really should have thought that through." I ejected the disc and never gave that game a second thought. That's I feel like that would really set me off too. I've looked for every way around this. Then you do it's very belittling to the player. I don't know if they foresaw that, but Mike's 2012 from Reddit. My much shorter list would be games I actually finished, and the last one I can remember is Resident Evil 7, the one Jay just said he didn't finish. In every case, some new game comes out that distracts me from taking away from the previous game, an endless cycle over and over. That's how I feel like I've kind of been stuck, because traditionally, like in the past, I would buy one game, play it, a ton, finish it, miss out on a lot of other games because I just really wanted to finish that one, and then, do that over and over. But I've been trying to like experience more games, but now I'm running into that problem where I'm like, ooh, this game, and then I play it a little bit, never finish it. Ooh, this game, and just kind of hop from one to the next. And then Berserk Wolf UK from Reddit says, The Walking Dead, the final season. Too soon. For those not in the know, Telltale Games, the company making The Walking Dead, is no longer, and pretty sure The Walking Dead is axed as a result, considering pretty much everything they're doing is axed. So too soon. I need to go back and play The Walking Dead, the first couple though. Never played them, and they're supposed to be the best Telltale game, and I like other ones. So rest in peace, Telltale Games. Hope you developers can find something. That's it for this week's episode. If you want to see the question for next week, follow us on Twitter at somber_Don, Instagram somber_Don_studios, and facebook.com/somberdon. You can message us the answers there, or you can just comment. I prefer if you comment. That'd be great. Join the Discord. The community there is really great. I post the question there, tag everybody so everybody gets a notification and can answer it. I post the other stuff from our YouTube there. Like, it's all good. And we'll be doing beta for our upcoming games there. One is coming pretty soon. So if you want in on a free beta test, that's going to be the only way you're going to be able to do it. So join the Discord and get a free game and tell me how bad it is if you want. And then I'll make it better. Whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on, I would really appreciate it if you liked the show. Then give it a like, give it a subscribe, follow, whatever the platform you're listening on has, makes a big difference in people being able to see it. So until next week, I'm Chad Spangler. This is the Big Shiny Coin Podcast, and I will see you next time.